amazing people. Welcome to another episode of MIMINEL'S Diary Realities and Perceptions. And I've always been your wonderful host, Minette, aka MIMINEL, on this show. I want to say a very big thank you to you all who have been supporting us so far. We are at 200 followers and subscribers. Thank you so very much. I appreciate the joy in me is so overwhelming. I lack the words to express to say thank you. I want to sincerely thank you all on behalf of my team and myself. If you're a new subscriber, thank you very much for stopping by. If you are just joining in and you're just viewing, thank you so much for still stopping by. And please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share the video and like. And I always advise we make use of the comment section so that we can also understand what you think about a particular topic or discussion. I am very elated. I want to say a very big thank you. Thank you to you all. May God continue to bless you and bless you and bless you. So on today's episode of the show, we're going to have Girls Talk. Yes, Girls Talk. And on this show, we're going to talk about 5 basic things you shouldn't do on your first date. A lot of times we make a lot of mistakes on our first date, and I'm here to correct a few of these mistakes we do on our first date. So the very first thing we're going to look at while on the first date is to never be late for your date. As a lady, it is not wise for you to keep your man or your date waiting. Never show up late. No matter how busy your schedule is, try as much as you can to make the time convenient or comfortable for both parties and ensure to be on time. And even if you were to meet up late or to make it late to the date, please ensure that you reach out to your date to let them know what is happening or what is keeping you or what is causing the delay. That is the very first thing you should do if you are to make it late, and ensure that no matter how late you are to appear on that date, it shouldn't be more than 5 to 10 minutes, and with reasonable explanations as to why you are making it late for the date. But it's always advisable anyways to put a convenient time for both of you. So make sure your date falls at a time where you are able to meet up, you are able to make it on time, so that you don't give a very wrong impression. Now, the second thing you're not to do on a first date is to show up overdressed or underdressed. In as much as you would like to create a very first impression, but don't overdo it. The overdoing aspect is not only in terms of the dressing, it could be in your manners, your comportment. There are some people who naturally don't know how to use the cutlery. So it's not, don't overdo it. Don't go on a first date and you are struggling with a fork and a knife, confused on which hands you should hold the fork and which hands you should hold the knife. You are just in between, and you know. So don't try to overdo things. If you don't know, stick to the natural you. Be calm and be yourself on a very first date. Don't try to give an impression of who you are not on a first date. So that's one of the things you should, and your outfit too should matter. Don't wear too expensive, or maybe don't be overdressed. Maybe you invite a lady for a date and she comes with a very long party gown, her hair all, no, that's too much for a first date. And don't come too casually, maybe dressed in just jeans and t-shirt. No, that's underdressed. Just try to be in between, look good, smart, and appealing to the eyes. Just dress very normal, just dress in between, but don't be too overdressed or don't be underdressed. So that's the second thing you shouldn't do on your first date as a lady. The very third thing not to do on your first date is to talk about others. When you get there are some people who are very much tempted to talk about the other people. Maybe your neighbor sitting by you on your first date, you're very much tempted to look at what they are eating or what they are doing. You know, those kind of things can come up. But in as much as you are tempted to do that, it is not wise, it is not right as a lady to bring that to the attention of your dates. Like, oh, look at what those people are doing, look at what they are eating, how can they be eating like this? Or maybe another person is there who doesn't know how to use the cutlery, and you're tempted to bring out a very loud laughter That's not right as a lady. You should try to comport yourself, in as much as you feel like I could say this. You can say it with your friends, but not with your dates, because I mean, you're there on a date. You are there for something serious. So that's the third thing you shouldn't do on a date. And talking about others, it will still entail you not talking about your ex on a date. No matter what that ex did to you, no matter the point you're trying to pass across to your date, no matter how you feel like, no, this scenario or this thing that happened to my date should be aware, so that maybe, because what most ladies are tempted to do on their first dates is that they are tempted to tell these men, like, okay, this is what my ex did to me, I wouldn't want to have a repeat of that, I don't want to go through this again. No, don't do that on the first date. You barely know each other, and you're just getting to know each other. There is still enough time and enough room for both of you to have that kind of conversation. You get, but from experience, I'm saying this from experience, most men do not like when their lady is talking about their ex. Most of them, and they too would not like to bring in their ex, except a man who just takes delight in bringing down his ex. Or maybe, yes, there are people like that. So most men will not like to discuss their ex with their partner. So you as a lady bringing that up on your first date is a no. You shouldn't do that on your first date. No matter how tempted you get to talk about your ex, no matter what situation you may want to point out, you can use other examples but not your ex. So it is advisable that you try as much as you can not to talk about your ex or others surrounding you and your date. Also, this particular point works for both parties. In as much as you are not to talk about others or bring others into your conversation with your date, it is not advisable that you talk too much about yourself. I'm going to make a later video. The continuation of this video would be for the men, because this is for the ladies only. 5 things you shouldn't do on your first date as a lady. We're going to make a video for the men, 5 things you shouldn't do on your first date as a man. So this point goes for both parties. Don't talk too much about yourself. Don't talk too much about your achievements, what you want and where you are, your finances, your latest car, your latest, oh, this dress was like this. I don't talk too much about yourself, your experiences. You might be tempted to do that on the first date, which is very normal, but try as much as you can to control those emotions. Don't take it to your first date. It's just going to bore the conversation or give a very wrong impression about you. So that's the third thing you shouldn't do on your first date. The fourth thing you shouldn't do on your first date is to constantly check your phone. Some people cannot do without their phone. Some people are so addicted to their phones. Even when you talk to them, they're always on their phones. And when you try to express how disappointed or how that particular incident makes you feel, they will tell you, but I listen with my ears, I don't listen with my eyes and my hands. You can talk, I'm listening. No, it is wise for you to be an attentive listener on your first date, no matter the emergency that you may be having. It is even wise for you to switch off your phone or put your phone on a flight mode on the period of time where you have that date going on. And first dates usually don't take long, because people are getting to know each other, and the longer you make it, it just becomes boring and awkward. At a point, you'll find that both parties are very silent because they really have nothing else to talk about. So a first date is not usually very long. So it is advisable that you put your phone on silent, or you either put on a flight mode so you don't get distracted. Always be an attentive listener. Pay attention to what your date is saying, no matter how stupid, no matter how foolish you might find it. There are people who connect so well on the first date, and they have a lot to talk about, that they can pick up a conversation and hold it on for hours. But there are others who really don't. So don't be tempted on your first date to be on your phone always. Try as much as you can to finish whatever business you have before you go for that date. Try as much as you can to conclude your deals or postpone them till after the date. So the very last thing, that's the 5th thing you shouldn't do on your first date, is to assume. The greatest mistake you can make as a lady on your first date is to assume things. It is better you open up to ask questions. Clear all doubts you have, no matter how stupid you might think the question is or embarrassing the question is. It is better you ask these questions for clarity. Gain clarity before leaving a first date. Don't go on a first date and you start assuming that I'm dating this person or I'm in a relationship with this person. Usually a first date is not a relationship. A first date could be, allow me use the term, try and error, where people get to know themselves. They just want to know if they are compatible and they pick it up from there. Some people are very lucky on their first dates. They eventually build that connection and that bond, and they pick it up from there, and they have a very blissful relationship that will lead to marriage. But others are not lucky. So if you're in that category, don't make the mistake of assuming that you are already dating this person, because most of the times men don't want that. Men are not the emotional beings. They may not easily get that attached like the woman. A woman uses her emotions to think. A man uses his reasoning. So most of the times he might just be on that date and he already knows, okay, this lady is not really what I want, or it's not what I was expecting her to be. Men are that, they are opportune to make those decisions, and he's already in his mind looking for the next lady. But a woman sitting there can just already build emotions for a man, especially if the man is physically attractive to her. If he has the physical attributes that she wants in a man, she's already imagining the latest couple or matching outfits they are going to wear in the next 2 or 3 days. So it happens. Try as much as you can not to assume things on a first date. Gain clarity before you leave a first date. Don't assume you're already in a relationship with a man when he has not made that clear to you, because you might just end up getting hurt. Assuming you think you're in a relationship with this man and you tend to overdo yourself, and then you later on discover that he has never been with you from day one. It just breaks your heart the more. So as a lady, we should try to protect those hearts, those loving and caring hearts that we have, and the gifts of nurturing that God has been giving to us. We should be patient and endurant. So please try as much as you can to avoid these things I've listed on the first date. They are not all. There are a lot of things you should avoid on the first date, but because of time and the purpose of this show, we are going to limit it to just those 4 aspects of things you shouldn't do on your first date. So that's all I have for you today on this episode. Make sure you share your views about the topic on the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe if you're just joining in. Thank you so very much for your time. If you've been watching till this point, you're wonderful. God bless you for me. And it's a period of love. It's a period of love. So this February, we're going to focus more on relationships, because a lot of you will be going on dates. A lot, not a lot. I wish my sisters out there the very best, and I pray God gives you your man. So in as much as you would be tempted to go out on those days, 1 or 2, I pray you make use of these tips. They are going to be useful. Don't overdo yourself. Be natural. Be you. Be yourself. You cannot give what you don't have, and you cannot maintain a lifestyle which is not yours, because you are, once you start it, you're going to be tempted to live it continuously. And my sister, sometimes you may not have the energy to pull it through. So be yourself, be natural. That's my advice from my end. Be yourself. Don't overdo things, and don't underdress because you want to just be simple on the first date. No. So I wish you well, and in this period of love, it's a heart from me to you. And the slogan of our show has always been realities and perceptions. What I think, what you think, the reality of what is, and the way forward. Until next time, I remain your girl, Minette, aka Miminel, on MIMINEL'S Diary, Realities and Perceptions. Bye-bye.